famous words in auto racing, the Grand Marshal of the Touchstone Energy 300, Mr. Mickey Miller.
On behalf of the more than 550 Touchstone Energy partners from all over the United States, the 4 most exciting words in sports. Gentlemen, start your engine!
Hello everyone, I'm Jerry Punch and welcome to Talladega Superspeedway. Glad you could join us here today. We showed you at the top of the show the last time these drivers competed on a Superspeedway, racing just inches apart at 200 miles per hour. They learned very quickly that there was absolutely no margin for error. Now right now the 43 drivers in the field are sitting buckled into their cars alone with their thoughts, contemplating what should, but also what could happen here today. Our 2 experts have sat in those seats many times. And Benny Parsons and Kyle Petty, there are some nervous stomachs on the starting grid.
I guarantee there's some nervous stomachs out there. How about those 11 guys that have never driven at Talladega before, wondering what's going to happen as they try to go out and race side by side at 190 miles per hour, up to 200 miles per hour. And the experienced drivers, it's no cakewalk for them, because if the inexperienced drivers have a problem, they're going to be right in the middle of it.
Exactly, and that's the problem. Inexperienced, there's so many inexperienced drivers. I heard an experienced driver the other day say, hey, I was number 6 in line on the outside line. My spotter said it's clear to the inside. Problem was I was running 18th position. They were already 3 wide, 6 deep. And when you look at that, an inexperienced driver in that position for the first time makes one bobble. Inexperienced or experienced, you're going to get caught up in it.
Our ABC coverage will capture every exciting lap as we are live at the world's fastest stock car facility, Talladega Superspeedway.
I wondered why the cars aren't going green or haven't gone green, and at that time the flagman did not give the signal 1 lap to go, because I'm told that on the backstretch there have been a couple of sprinkles. It's been clear all day long, and just as the cars get ready to start this 300-mile race, have a few sprinkles on the backstretch.
They were anticipating some scattered showers in the area. It turned dark early this morning, but then cleared up just before the International Race of Champions event. And of course, NASCAR's Winston Cup Happy Hour just completed a few moments ago as this field on the racetrack getting set for 300 miles of racing action from Talladega Superspeedway. When we'll come back, we'll wave the green flag for NASCAR's Busch Series at the world's fastest stock car facility. Back at Talladega Superspeedway, look at this massive 2,000-acre facility built on what was a World War II Air Force training facility back many, many years ago. Now, a big weekend of action coming your way still from Talladega. Our NASCAR Winston Cup Happy Hour coverage over on ESPN2 at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. RPM tonight at 7 Eastern Time on the Deuce. And, of course, that's all later today. Tomorrow, RPM today, noon Eastern Time with ESPN2. NASCAR today at 12:30. And then our live flag-to-flag coverage of the 30th running of the NASCAR Winston Cup Die Hard 500 on ABC Sports at 1 o'clock Eastern Time from right here at Talladega Superspeedway. Well, we'll have 8 onboard cameras today to give you action up close and personal with these laps at close to 200 miles per hour, starting with Stanton Barrett in the car number 40. Back in 30th spot, the Channel Lock Chevrolet.
Chuck Bound, also the Exxon Superflow onboard camera. Shane Hall will be starting in back in 12th spot, the CT Farman Country.
Mike McLaughlin's Gould's Pump Chevrolet starts outside of row 3 in 6th spot.
Then Dave Blaney right in front of him, the Amoco onboard camera.
And the Bob Evans Chevrolet will start inside of row 2. That's Randy LaJoie in the car number 1, the winner in Daytona, in this exact same car.
And we have cameras on the front row. Joe Nemechek, the Bell South Mobility onboard camera. And the pole sitter today, Kenny Schrader, the Briggs & Stratton onboard camera. As he follows the pace car, you see the lights are off. We'll be going green flag racing in about 1 mile.
Let's check in the pits quickly with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Doc, we documented that Elton Sawyer is going to start with a provisional. They had a problem in their K-Tech engine. There was a piston that was bad, so they pulled that engine out. They got an engine from Andy Petrie Racing. It's the same one that Kenny Schrader used to win the pole at Daytona. They think it's going to be strong. The problem is they didn't get any practice in Happy Hour. Now to Bill Weber.
Terry Labonte is a two-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion and sharing the driving duties of the Slim Jim Chevy in the Busch Series this year with his brother Bobby and Terry's son Justin. Terry is doing the driving duties here at Talladega, but yesterday at the end of happy hour, they broke a rocker arm. They have a brand new engine in that car, but it does not have a lap on it.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Pace car pulls away. Johnny Norton, NASCAR Busch Series flagman, waits all the way down, entering turn one. That's where the start-finish line is here at Talladega. And what a crowd on their feet, estimated at over 90,000 strong, to watch exciting NASCAR Superspeedway action.
And Jeff Purvis, evidently someone in front of him did not get a good start. He dove to the inside. NASCAR rules, you have to stay in line until you cross the start-finish line.
That's a tough call right there, man. Somebody checks up just a little bit, and you've got that momentum built up, and you just got to turn left or run over them. It's a safety issue sometimes.
Looking like an Oklahoma land rush down the backstretch, 4,000 feet. They are 2 and 3 wide, but the quick groove on the bottom of the racetrack, single file. Pole sitter Kenny Schrader, LaJoy in second spot.
Started dead equal, and Kenny's pulled that far away just in one lap. But even with that little bit of help, most of the time you see in the Winston Cup races and in the Busch races, these guys run side by side for 2 or 3 laps before they get started.
And Jeff Purvis, the 4 car, the Lance Snacks car, was given a black flag by NASCAR. So you'll have to slow down, go in the pit area, and take a stop and go. As we see Dale Earnhardt Jr. drive to the inside, trying to make a move.
And there's David Green in the car number 41 down on the inside. Jason Jarrett, the young second-generation driver, making a third-generation driver, the grandson of Ned and son of Dale Jarrett, right in the middle of that sandwich as they exit off of turn 4. They come at you at 194 miles an hour. 3 wide entering turn 1 at Talladega. Now the challenge for the lead up front.
Randy LaJoy, the red and white car goes to the inside of Schrader, takes the lead. Here comes Matt Kenseth trying to follow in the yellow number 17 car. Now we see Purvis down on the inside.
Now riding along with Joe Nemechek, the pole sitter and winner of this race a year ago. Watches the car, vibrates and bounces. How much do you feel that, Kyle?
You feel it. It's tremendous how bad you feel. I talked to Johnny Andretti before I came up here. He told me under his arms are sore where it keeps hammering him down with the rib supports and keeps hammering up under his arm. Lap after lap. You know, we talk about Bristol being a tough racetrack and a physical racetrack. I don't think there's any racetrack that's more physical than Talladega is now under the rules that the Busch Series and the Winston Cup guys have to race on.
And here is Jeff Purvis. You heard Vinnie Martin say a moment ago, NASCAR, and wave the black flag, the consultation flag. He has to come all the way down pit road, 55 miles an hour for a stop-and-go penalty that will cost him maybe a lap. He's going to try to hustle out of the pits as the leaders will shuffle now 3 wide again down the backstretch.
Once again, this is Joe Nemechek as he tries to hook up with the pole sitter, Kenny Schrader. Here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr., the blue car on the inside. Meanwhile, Dave Blaney, the Amoco car, is hung right in the middle. And that's no place to be.
He'll try to pull down in line and find him a spot to get back in that grab. And still nowhere to go. There's the Amoco roof cam. He is the lead in that sandwich to his right. To the Iowa short track ace, Brad Loney. There goes the car number 8. Bobby Hillen by. There is Todd Bodine going by in the 66 car.
You know, you see somebody get caught in the middle like that, and you say, why are they going by them on both sides? How does that happen? The draft just sucks these cars by them on the inside and outside. He's got nobody in front of him to break the wind and to make the cars suck up a little bit, and he's just going to get hammered straight to the back.
Normally a spotter would be saying clear high or clear low, but a spotter can't say anything because he's not clear at all.
He's got no place to go. The best thing he can do is do exactly what he's doing. He's being real patient. You hadn't seen him snatch the car to the inside or the outside to try to make somebody check up. He's just riding there. It's a long race, man. They got plenty of time to go and plenty of time to get back in line.
1994 Series champion, the AFG Industry Chevrolet. He was very stout in happy hour yesterday afternoon.
I was told he was one of the fastest cars in the happy hour practice. Meanwhile, he's trying to get to the front.
If you're not familiar with what happy hour is, that's a term used in NASCAR for the final practice session prior to race day. It's usually on the afternoon prior to the race. A 1 hour session when everyone has their cars dialed in exactly, and that's why these guys were awfully good late yesterday.
And trust me, there's nothing happy about it at all.
We'll be back with more exciting NASCAR Busch Series Talladega action from Talladega Superspeedway after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Early laps here at the NASCAR Busch Series Touchstone Energy 300. Now, while we were in break a moment ago, the car number 22 of Jimmy Kitchens, the Dave Carroll, Bobby Allison Motorsports Chevrolet, had trouble down the back straightaway and suddenly slowed.
And we see the smoke coming out from the Air Jamaica Vacations automobile. And luckily, no one other cars involved.
And Jason Jarrett also on pit road early on. Bill Weber, what's the problem?
Well, after a sparkling qualifying run and high hopes here today, Jason Jarrett will be pushed behind the wall. The oil temperature had soared. The RPMs had fallen off. There's something wrong in the engine compartment, and the day is over early for Jason Jarrett.
And just that quickly, we have a lead change up front as Matt Kenseth, the DeWalt Chevrolet, takes the lead, and moves Pump's car right behind him. Veteran Mike McLaughlin driving the car number 34. Let's check in his pits with Ray Dunlap.
Well, Jerry, everything's going great on the racetrack as McLaughlin now into second place right behind Kenseth. But as they left pit road, the tachometer went to 0. Not because there's a problem with the engine, it's just a wiring problem. So Mike has no tach. The only time that will really be a big factor is when they try to come in for pit road. There is no speedometer in these cars, so they use the tachometer to tell how fast they're going. Their plan right now is to try to come in with somebody else each and every pit stop so they don't get a pit road penalty for going too fast.
All right, so if he's able to come down pit road with someone else, as you take a look on board, and he has his arm right over the tachometer there, Kyle. That's exactly what the driver's concerned about. And they penalize you for speeding on pit road, and here you don't want to be penalized.
No, you don't want to get penalized here. They penalize you. You run out of gas and coasting, they'll penalize you. And that's just the rules. It's a safety issue for pit road. And I'm going to tell you what, you don't depend on that tach for anything once they drop the green flag, except coming in and out of pit road.
And one car that's making a move early on here, started back in 17th spot. We're talking about the AC Delco Chevrolet of defending series champion Dale Earnhardt Jr. Back in 17th starting spot, now being shown in 6th overall.
Also right behind him is Kelly Denton, who started back in the 24th position. There's Kelly in the white number 75. And look at Randy LaJoy, the one car is leading a couple laps ago. He's fallen like a rock back to 8th spot.
Car number 75 of Kelly Denton, his first Busch start of the 1999 year, the Lumar Windows machine. And here's our pole sitter as you watch them shuffling there. Nearly some contact between Kelly Denton and the 43 car of Shane Hall. This is the Briggs & Stratton roof cam of our pole sitter, Kenny Schrader.
And right on the inside of him is Kevin Grubb.
And I think Kevin started back about 29th or 30th. There's a lot, like Vinny said in the opening, a lot of inexperienced drivers here, but they're doing really a good job. They come from the back of the pack and they're able to mix it up in the front, and they're holding their own.
We have completed 13 laps. There are 100 remaining here at this 2.66 mile facility. Kenny Schrader's Oakwood Home Chevrolet now being shown back in 11th spot. Ray Dunlap, is there a problem with the car?
Well, Jerry, they have been talking on the radio back and forth here. Kenny is trying to work out a plan to tighten up his race car. He said it's very, very loose down in turns 1 and 2, and that's why he's had to back off a little bit. He's not running all the time at full throttle because this car is so loose.
There's Andy Petrie, who got his first win as a Winston Cup crew chief here at Talladega, knowing that his driver also got his first victory in Winston Cup racing here at Talladega back in 1988. And there is the kind of summary you don't want to see. You're going backwards from the pole all the way back to the 13th spot here on lap number 14.
The car that just passed Kenny Schrader, Jason Keller, the 57 car. He's now pulled on the inside of the 37 car Grub. He was the most recent winner in the NASCAR Busch Series. The victor at Bristol a couple of weeks ago.
And how about the fourth place car, the Phillips 66 Chevrolet? Get a load of the fact that Todd Bodine started back in 27th position. And here in less than 15 laps, he is now being shown in fourth spot. As you look out the back of Joe Nemechek's Bow South Mobility Chevrolet camera, looking right back. That's a third place car looking back at the fourth place car's grill.
And we see the orange car on the inside. That is Jeff Purvis. He has now lost a lap because of an unscheduled pit stop. Had to heed the black flag of NASCAR for jumping the start. Take a look at our Circuit City onboard telemetry. We see the RPMs about 67, 6,800 RPMs. That's all they turn. And the miles per hour as he goes down into turn one, about 190 miles per hour.
At the car number 17 being shown as our leader. There's McLaughlin in the 34 car in second spot. Then Nemechek, then Todd Bodine. And here's the points leader, the Lysol Chevrolet Monte Carlo, Elton Sawyer, who came in with a scant 1-point lead over Dale Earnhardt Jr. We chronicled all the engine troubles they had all week long. They lost an engine prior to qualifying on Friday morning, lost another engine prior to happy hour on Saturday afternoon. They borrowed this engine, and now they are on pit road here at lap 16.
And now the car's on the outside just going by as Joe Nemechek gets down the inside and watches these cars go. And look at them, two abreast down in turn one.
You know, running a lap at Talladega, and if you're from first or second or third to 22nd, it's like shuffling a deck of cards. You never know where you're going to be once somebody starts to shuffle them, and you can be running second or third. Just choose the wrong line, think you're in the right line, and they just drive by you.
Here comes Earnhardt Jr. up alongside the 57 car of Jason Keller, our most recent winner in Busch competition. Little E on the bottom of the racetrack, right in front of Joe Nemechek. See if he can get a run on Kelly Denton on the inside. They will shuffle Denton in the middle. And Kyle Kelly Denton has never been on a super speedway, not here at Talladega in Busch competition. And being in the middle there, that's going to be a problem for him.
Not a good place to be, but he's doing a good job. You saw him. He's just holding his line.
As we check this average speed that time, we go back to Chuck Bound back in about 19th position with the fastest speed that time. 2 miles per hour faster than the leaders as they shuffle back up front for all these positions.
Well, as you watch this battle down the backstretch, let's check in the point leaders pits. Are Elton Sawyer, Ray Dunlap, what is his problem?
Well, Jerry, their big worry about today's race was longevity in the engine department, wanting to make sure they could get all the laps in today. Right now, behind the wall, losing laps. They believe that it's a broken rocker arm on this engine, which they got from Andy Petrie Racing. Schrader had a problem with it earlier this year. It was a lifter problem, and this is a rocker arm problem. We'll update you if I get any further word.
Well, we have some weekends that go bad and just go from bad to worse. 1-point lead's all he had. It took him 300 starts to ever lead the Busch Series point standings. Elton Sawyer behind the wall getting his car worked on.
Meanwhile, they're going 4 abreast down the backstretch as David Green, the white car, dives on the inside of Shane Hall. That's Shane in the 43 car, the dark car, and Purvis tries to follow. Meanwhile, Kevin Grubb, the green number 37, caught in the middle with nowhere to go.
Kevin's caught in the middle, like we've talked about before, with nowhere to go. 2 laps before this, he was running 4th in line, and he crossed the line in 4th place. He'd come from 29th to 4th. Now he's probably back about 14th or 15th.
Riding along with Shane Hall's Farm Country General Store roof camera. What a difference this team has had the last couple of weeks, changing over the Dennis Fisher engines at Bristol. Had a great top 5 qualifying run, and they're running with the leaders here today at Talladega. Typical Talladega competition. 2 wide, 3 wide, and sometimes 4 wide down the backstretch. We're in the early laps of NASCAR's Busch Series exciting Touchstone Energy 300 live from Talladega Superspeedway. We'll be right back. as always, fast and furious here at Talladega, Alabama. What a scramble up front. Earnhardt Jr., the car number 3 on the inside, was the leader a half a lap ago, and now Mike McLaughlin driving single-handedly. I should say driving with his left hand only. His right hand is broken, has a splint on it. Trying to hang on at almost 193 miles per hour at the front of this field.
And Terry Labonte's now going for that second spot. That's Labonte, the Slim Jim car on the right of the screen. The red car started back in 16th spot, trying to take over second from Jason Keller. Looks like he has it. Meanwhile, Jim Purvis, a 4-car, trying to race back to the front to get his lap back in case there should be a caution flag, make up the entire 2.5-mile distance.
Well, we told you earlier today there could be a shakeup in the points. That will definitely happen because our point leader is standing with Ray Dunlap.
He really is, Doc, and we're just talking it over down here about what's going on. They've had a chance. Oh, we got a problem on the racetrack.
A tap from behind, and Jason Keller does the pirouettes 360, comes around and does come into contact with the inside wall off of turn 2. Bringing out caution for the first time today. The IGA Chevrolet, our most recent winner, coming off of turn 4. And Jeff Purvis will be able to get in front and get his lap back. That's the car number 4 coming your way there in front of the leaders. So the first caution of the day coming out was an incident involving Jason Keller's car number 57.
So you see Jason Keller climbing from his car. So the smell of victory he had at Bristol a couple weeks ago will not be today, and he is so dejected right now. Ever see Jason on the very bottom of the racetrack? Just a little touch from Todd Bodine, looks like. Started to go over. The roof flaps we see are deployed on the roof. Kept the thing on the ground and inside that wall.
If you're not familiar with those roof flaps, they are stall strips on the roof of the car to keep the cars from getting up off the ground and getting airborne. Another angle looking up the straightaway.
When you say it's just a slight touch there from the 66 car, Kyle?
Just a slight touch, and it doesn't take much. You know, we'd already, Jason had helped the 34 car get to the lead. Terry Labonte had turned left on him getting in the corner and drove down under him. Whether Jason's car was working like it needed to be or not, I don't know, but just a slight touch right here. You see the 66 car right here to the left of the screen.
Going down in turn 1, right along with Randy LaJoy, the Bob Evans reference. Right in the middle of the screen is Jason Keller. Going to come up and right there, just a slight touch, and around he goes. And that could have been big. Luckily, the car spun off the racetrack down to the inside. Not luckily for Jason, but for the rest of the field. It was lucky that he slid down to the inside, not to the outside.
Jason Keller came into today third in the points, just 47 points behind Elton Sawyer, who is already behind the wall in the garage area. Here's our leader, Mike McLaughlin. Now on that right hand, he has up on the side of the steering wheel there, he has a broken second and third fingers. He broke at an incident, almost a head-on collision at Bristol, Tennessee 2 weeks ago. He's got a splint beneath that glove, and then a tape, then a bandage, and then the glove on that right hand.
He stayed on the racetrack, and everyone else comes down pit road. What in the world was Mike thinking of?
Let's go down to Bill Weber in the pits.
Well, a lot of activity here on pit road, but there could be problems for Matt Kenseth. He said he had a lot of smoke, thinks perhaps an oil line might have come off, but he still had oil pressure. Now they're hoping it might just be power steering fluid. They decided to do a 4-tire stop. Several teams down here have talked about doing just a 2-tire stop. Right behind him, Tony Roper's car fell off the jack. Earnhardt Jr. is away. Nemechek beat him off pit road. The 17 squeezes the 1, the 32 slides to the inside, then 2 more, then another pack of 4 off of pit road. The 34 stayed out on the racetrack.
All this action taking place during the first caution flag. And now let's go back to Ray Dunlap, who's standing by with the guy who was our point leader coming into the day. Ray?
Well, he was, Doc, an average finish of 10th all season long so far this year, but that's not going to be the case today. We talked an awful lot about how important longevity was. What's the problem with the engine?
Well, Ray, it looks like it's busted a piston. It's unfortunate. You know, we've struggled this whole week here. We did everything we possibly could. We put a new motor in again this morning, and you know, we didn't make very many laps. So the guys will just we'll load up and keep our heads up. And it's still a long season, and we're off to California. Be back in our Ford Taurus with Jack Roush Motors. Be a lot happier about that.
Well, guys, an awful lot of work has gone on in this crew for the last couple of days, but they will be the first car out of the race.
Boy, after back-to-back top 10 finishes at Nashville and Bristol, Tennessee, he will call it quits here today. There's the reason for the caution flag. Jason Keller bringing out the first yellow flag of the day on lap 26. We are under caution at Talladega Superspeedway. ABC Sports live coverage of NASCAR coming your way today from the mammoth Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. Getting set for a restart after one caution flag coming out on lap 26, a spin by Jason Keller off of turn 2. You just joined us. Almost everyone is pitted with the exception of our leader, Mike McLaughlin.
Green flag waves, cars are restarting. You'll see McLaughlin, Nemechek, Earnhardt Jr., and diving to the outside, Randy LaJoie trying to get a run on the 3-car, and Matt Kenseth trying to follow him. Matt Kenseth, let's talk about an oil leak or something. Bill Weber, have they decided anything?
Benny, they're not 100% sure, but they believe the leaking fluid is either clutch fluid or power steering fluid. They've told Matt to be very conscious of everything on that race car, but they've also told him it is definitely not an engine problem. To Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bill, to give you an update on Mike McLaughlin and their situation, this was not necessarily pre-planned race strategy. It was kind of an accident, but Mike has the lead right now. They figure they can go to lap 47 or 50 on fuel. Todd Bodine came in for fuel, and it only took 10.5 gallons, so they've got plenty of fuel left to make it to the next pit stop.
And that's the reason Mike McLaughlin did not pit.
I guess they're going to make it on one stop, so they're just going to wait and go ahead and stop. If it's on the green flag, they'll just stop. Meanwhile, he's losing the lead as LaJoie goes by on the outside.
LaJoie is a man on a mission after when they dropped the green flag. He pulled out and came from 4th or 5th in line to lead this thing, and he's done it all on the outside. Kenseth's right there behind him, and he's getting some help. There's Jeff Green right behind him. Those guys are pushing, but he's leading this pack pretty fast right now.
Now we check LaJoie and go on board with him, check our telemetry as he goes through the corner, drops down to about 187 miles per hour. Now as he comes off, he will start accelerating back up. Speed will start picking up as Mike McLaughlin trying to get by Matt Kenseth.
Kyle, Mike McLaughlin's got an awfully strong race car. He pulled a moment ago without a lot of help, although he's got Nemechek behind him now. He pulled back up a couple of car lengths on LaJoie.
Yeah, I just don't think Mike's car got up to speed, or anybody's car, for that matter, as quick as LaJoie's car. LaJoie's car just killed him on that restart. Now that these cars are wound up after about a lap and a half, then the inside line, you'll see it pick up speed.
We saw Dave Blaney and Todd Bodine a moment ago as they went 4 wide down the backstretch. Now here comes the Gould's Pump Chevy for Mike McLaughlin, former NASCAR Modified Series champion back in 1988 up in the northeastern part of the country. A veteran now in NASCAR's Busch Series, running door to door for second spot with Matt Kenseth as they chase the car number 1 of Brandon LaJoie, the 2-time series champion.
Car 30 line on the outside, Jeff Green has a victory this year in the NASCAR Busch Series. McLaughlin's going to pull up now right behind Randy LaJoie and lead the cars in 3rd place side by side. That's Joe Nemechek on the inside, the blue, red, and white, and Matt Kenseth, the yellow number 17.
Looks like 190 mile per hour pace lap as they are side by side. And take a look from high above Talladega Superspeedway.
As McLaughlin goes for the lead, getting a little push from Nemechek. Meanwhile, Nemechek trying to get a run on McLaughlin. Who will lead this lap? It will be Mike McLaughlin. Meanwhile, they're side by side. That's Dave Blaney on the inside and Todd Bodine in the middle.
And right behind Blaney with Chuck Bound, the former series champion in the 63 car. He was all the way down with left side tires on the apron. Here's the Superflow roof cam for Chuck Bound, and what a move he made a moment ago as they spread out right in front of him. That's Blaney's Amoco car right in front of him. There's Earnhardt Jr., the 3 car going by.
It's like Blaney lost some momentum off the second corner. Ooh, a little bit of a bump there from Chuck Bound on Dave Blaney.
Yeah, you saw Blaney's hand pop up. It was about the time he got hit that he was having to check up a little bit in front. That's a fast part of the racetrack where the draft really comes into play because you're turning left and the cars on the outside line block the wind before the inside line. Inside line really just picks up a lot of speed right there. Blaney threw up his hands about the time he got tapped.
Well, our point leader has already called it a day, and the man who came in third in the points is standing by with Bill Weber.
And that's Jason Keller off the spectacular win at Bristol. Your day's over early. What happened back there?
I got some help. Fleming Team IGA Chevrolet running great. Best I've ever run at Superspeedway. Qualified well, and it's a shame our day, days over early, but in the drivers' meeting they preach about, give and take. There's a lot more taking out there right there than giving, and his day will come.
Very angry but somewhat subdued Jason Keller. Tempers will flare, and we told you at the top of the show, there is absolutely no margin for error at these speeds, inches apart at Talladega.
This is Randall LaJoy's onboard camera, the Bob Evans restaurant on board. Looking back at Matt Kenseth and also Chuck Bound on the inside. And Chuck Bound looks back at Todd Bodine, the Phillips 66 car. Kind of touched the apron with that left front, did Todd Bodine.
Yeah, Todd was all over the track there for some reason in the middle of the corner, which is kind of bizarre to get it. You see those cars almost pinch. They come together right there and almost pinch the blue car right there in the middle. He has to check up a little bit, and now you can see him dropping out of the picture.
Now Dale Earnhardt Jr., that blue car is in the middle, and look at him going by on both sides.
But the reason he's dropping like he's dropping was those cars came together almost. He saw it happening. He checked up a little bit. He was in the middle, but he saw it. He checked up a little bit. And when you have to lift for 1 second here, for just a portion of a second, man, you start dropping like a rock.
And for the fans who may not be aware, at Talladega, Kyle, you basically hold your right foot flat on the floorboard and you don't let up until it's time for a pit stop.
No, I tell you what, most guys drive this thing and talking about restarts and stuff like that, most guys run wide open, and the only time you slow down, or the way you slow it down, is you put your foot on the brake and you slow it down. You never want to come off the accelerator because it takes time for the butterflies to open up in the carburetor and for the car to accelerate again. So you just bind it up with the brake and then jump off the brake.
Never backing off the throttle. Just slow down by touching the brakes.
Well, the fans have not sat down yet. Over 90,000 strong here at Talladega. What a show they are seeing. NASCAR Busch Series style. We are still in the early laps at Talladega Superspeedway. We'll be back with more exciting NASCAR Busch Series action after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back in Talladega, Alabama. Now, even the most casual of race fans has got to enjoy this. We have 37 cars in the lead draft, 3 wide at almost 195 miles an hour.
And right in the middle, right, you see the orange car. That's Jeff Purvis. Remember, he was black flagged by NASCAR, lost a lap. He now is back on the lead lap in 17th position. But unfortunately, he's right in the middle, and now we got a battle for the lead as Blaney drives to the inside of McLaughlin.
Still outside.
Trying to take the lead.
Behind.
That's a spotter on the roof of this racetrack.
3 wide.
Talking to the driver, looking at where the other traffic is. There comes LaJoy and Nemechek, back by Blaney.
Still 3 wide.
LaJoy pulled over to try to help Blaney, but he had such a run, he said, why should I help him? I think I'll just try to go for the lead. And he has the lead. He's coming off turn 4.
That's what's amazing about this place. A mile ago, Blaney was challenging for the lead. When they hit the stripe, he'll be back in about 6th or 7th position.
Or 10th.
Or 10th, yeah. Exactly. Exactly, he is 10th. Good call, man.
Folks, take a look at how large this lead draft is at Talladega. From high above Talladega Superspeedway, the fine folks at our Outlaw Copter Cam give us this shot. 37 cars. And every single one of those cars is in the lead lap battling for position. And last time by, they ran right at 192 miles per hour. 37 cars in contention in one cluster on this racetrack.
Just think, Kyle, if the race were to end this way and you go home and say, how'd you finish? Well, I finished 37th. Oh, I didn't do too good. How far were you behind? 2 seconds.
It's like they always say, you can throw a blanket over. You can throw a blanket over this entire crowd right here, and they're running 3 and 4 wide. It's like I said in the opener. You can be 18th and 6th in line in the outside line.
That's why they stand in line to come to Talladega. NASCAR high bank action. Today it's the NASCAR Busch Series. On Sunday it's NASCAR's Winston Cup, the premier stock car series in the world, on the high banks of Talladega. Now they are 4 wide. Make it 5 wide down the backstretch. They shuffle back to 3 wide, chasing LaJoy.
I just looked up here, and Lyndon Amick has moved up into 4th place. I'm going to have to give him a call. He has had a terrible year with that Scana team. They've missed races. They've struggled. But they went back and regrouped after a couple of races, and they've come back strong the last couple of weeks, qualified well, and here he is running 4th.
You know, Kyle, his best run was actually in the season opener at Daytona, and he was leading at Daytona. Remember, they had a problem with the transmission on the restart, and that cost him a great finish in Florida. But this is the same car they had with in Daytona thinking good finish. They probably will get a good finish for today.
Terry Labonte, Mike McLaughlin has now worked his way back to about the 7th spot, and in jeopardy of losing another spot as Shane Hall tries to go on the inside. And here are the 4 car of Jeff Purvis is now running in the 6th position in the lead draft for the first 5 cars. Look at this.
He was as low as 43rd on lap 3 after being black flagged for getting a little bit of nudge on the start, jumping the start. A 2-time pole sitter, won the pole here at Talladega, 94 and 95, back-to-back years. Has not won here in Busch competition. At Kenseth in the car number 17, looking to the inside of Joe Nemechek.
These Busch guys are racers. They get in line, and those first 5 or 6 are able to check out just a little bit, but about the same time, oh, look at the 63, Chuck Bound jumped to the inside. But about the time they begin to break away, they decide they want to race and run 2 wide. Everybody catches up, and that's why we've got a pack here.
Tell you what, that Super Flow Chevy is super fast. Chuck Bound has made a couple of daring moves to make it 3 wide, and yeah, there's the 4 car. From a lap down, here comes Purvis, and he will get down on the bottom and try to draft by Bound. No, he's going to try to go beneath Bound.
And there he did. He went by on the inside of him, and meanwhile Mike McLaughlin trying to go as well. And it's no wonder these fans are standing up watching this action.
While they are 2 by 2 back in the pack there, LaJoy, the leader, running by himself, has pulled away by about 10 car lengths. There's LaJoy coming right at you down that 4,000-foot back straightaway. That's the Lance Chevy of Purvis on the inside. Nemechek on the outside, battling for second.
Meanwhile, Chuck Bound appears to be caught once again in the middle as Tim Fiedler was on the inside.
With the actions now stabilized, still side by side the front. Let's check in the pits with Bill Weber.
Well, Jerry, as you know, these crew chiefs and spotters continue to tell their drivers information on what's going on around them and behind them. The latest information to Joe Nemechek is try and hook up with Jeff Purvis. They believe he's the fastest car on the racetrack. If they can get together, they think they might be able to edge away. Earlier, it was going to be the 87 and 93. That didn't work out. You know how fast these relationships can fall apart, but right now they want Nemechek to try and run with Purvis. We'll see what happens.
Friendships on a super speedway at 190 plus miles an hour.
And here goes Nemechek on the outside of Labonte. Randy LaJoy got a great run on him, and by him he goes, or almost by him. Who was that said, oh, come on, was that LaJoy?
That's it behind you. It's Nemechek's spotter.
Yeah, that was Nemechek's spotter. And Kyle, it's let's make a deal on a super speedway. Who can make the best deal? Who has the best friends when it comes to getting a drafting partner?
Everybody's your friend for about a straightaway, and then you got a new friend when you get to another straightaway.
All right, let's see who are the friends now. Looks like it's going to be Purvis and LaJoy, a couple of Busch Series regulars with McLaughlin right behind them. We're talking about the 1, 4, and 34 cars on the inside lane. There they come trying to draft by, and they will draft by Nemechek.
As strong as Purvis.
To get to the bottom there.
As strong as Purvis has been, and as strong as LaJoie has shown, I'm not sure these two cars want to get hooked up like this because they could check out on everybody the way they've both come through the pack. But, you know, these guys are, you heard Nemechek's spotter there say you got to get to the bottom. A minute ago he was cheering for him because he took the lead in the outside lane, and now he's telling him he's in the wrong lane. He needs to get to the bottom.
Now remember, Mike McLaughlin did not pit. We are moving in on lap number 50, and there has to be some concern about when they're going to be able to get in onto pit road. Right, Ray Dunlap?
Well, there really is, Jerry, and the problem is they know that they could go 47 green flag laps. We've had a few laps of caution, so that does extend out a little bit. It might go up to 55, maybe even 56. But if this race stays green, Mike McLaughlin is going to have to give up his top 5 spot right now and come down pit road all by himself, and that would be devastating.
Indeed it would be. He is fourth in the point standings. We've already lost Elton Sawyer, our point leader, and Jason Keller, who was third coming in today. So McLaughlin running fourth in the standings, currently being shown in the top 5 in third position.
How some drivers love this. They just love all this speed and all this trip race. I never found that too much fun. Do you?
I tell you what, Benny, I was like Adam and Casey and Kevin and Wayne Grubb and those guys. When I was 18 or 19, I loved to come to Talladega. I thought it was a dream come true to come down here. I'm 38 now. I hate it. And I'm going to tell you, I think that comes with experience, man. You get to the point where you say, God, any place but Talladega.
It's very nerve-wracking to be out there side by side, 3 abreast, just like Dave Blaney right in the middle.
How about talking to Casey Atwood, the 18-year-old driver, car number 27, 193.002. His first time ever at Talladega, and he was the fastest car that time by. Too young to know better, Kyle.
Too young to know better. I think that's what it's. I think that's exactly right. After you hit here a couple of times, you say, you know, these walls are hard, you know, and at 190, they're really hard.
Blaney about to lose another spot as we see Adam Petty on the outside. He's hanging in there. Adam's running a 16th spot right now.
Adam ran an ARCA race here last October, had a good run going as we have another incident. The car.
I think that was Adam. I think he and Blaney got together right there coming up out of the corner. I think Blaney jumped up into it just a little bit. Just one of those deals, man. When you race that close, that's what happens.
And caution will come out as they come across and make it lap 52. And that will be a break for Mike McLaughlin, not a break for Adam Petty, the 18-year-old driver of the Spree Chevrolet. And it doesn't take much. It doesn't look like much of a nudge, but you can see the car when it slows down, the whole right front is shoved in.
Take a look as they come off the corner, and right there we see the contact between Blaney and Adam. And I tell you what, Adam does a great job to keep that car going straight as we see Ed Berrier back in the Lear car make some contact with Kelly Denton. A lot of contact back there for no more crashes than this, Kyle.
Yeah, a lot of contact. You see Adam get out of shape right here. He comes down into Blaney, or Blaney comes up whichever way, but he gets out of loose. He comes back down into Blaney, then up into the outside wall. You see Ed Berrier get hit right here and move to the outside, and they begin to split. And this is where these guys are a lot of inexperienced drivers, but they drove like they were veterans. They just went to the inside, went to the outside, and they were able to hold their position, and nothing more came out of it except for one car.
And there's a look at 18-year-old Adam Petty. What a job he did hanging on to that race car. The car got sideways up across into the wall. Now he climbs out of his damaged Chevrolet, the Spree Chevrolet. I was just getting ready to say he had run an ARCA race here last October, qualified 11th, was running 6th, and got involved in an accident while he was making his way to the front. I just started to say that, and son of a gun, he's in the wall here in the trial bowl after contact.
Now we'll take a look at this once again from our Outlaw Copter Cam. There's Adam on the outside as he come off turn 4. And right there, I think, right there, we're going to see Adam go down and and as he tries to keep from hitting Blaney, once again, it's one of these deals you try to keep from hitting the other guy, and you get yourself in trouble.
Brad Loney did a nice job to be able to avoid Adam Petty coming off the wall.
Now, the question I've got is, with the cars that pitted before, will they change 2 tires and fuel up for the rest of the race? McLaughlin, I would feel like, has to change 4 tires Ray Dunlap, what kind of strategy we got going on down there?
Well, yeah, I think that is definitely going to be the strategy here. They're going to take all the fuel they can get, and that should push them into where there's just one more stop. Now let's go to Bill Weber.
Well, and the Purvis pit, they have told Jeff they definitely cannot make it. They cannot make it from here. They're still discussing their strategy, but they definitely can't make it from here on fuel. Back to you, Ray.
Definitely the same situation for Mike McLaughlin. They cannot make it the rest of the distance, so there will be one more pit stop beyond this. But what a break for Mike McLaughlin and the Gold Pumps team to have that caution come out, because they were getting ready. They had the equipment up on the pit wall. They knew they were going to have to pit soon. Here comes Mike McLaughlin in right now. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment in the right front. No chassis adjustment is scheduled right now because the car is very, very good. Gas and 4 tires. Right side tires are done. Now to Bill Weber.
A lot of 2-tire stops here. Jeff Purvis pulled up too far and had to back up. They got the right side tires on, waiting to top it off with fuel. One car's already away. The 15's away. The 00 almost in the 4. The 44's away.
Wow, flurry of activity in the pits here on lap 54. Let's go back to Ray.
Tough break for Mike McLaughlin here as they had an excellent pit stop, but Kevin Grubb had pitted right in front of them and was in the very back of his pit box, so Mike McLaughlin had a very slow exit out of the pit lane. They had a great pit stop, but it was all for naught.
I still believe Mike McLaughlin's got to be feeling very fortunate right now. That caution flag came out, kept him from having to make a green flag pit stop. He has made a stop and lost some spots, but he is on the lead lap. We are working caution for the second time today at Talladega Superspeedway. 54 of 113 laps are complete. Randy LaJoie is being shown as our leader. Our live ABC Sports coverage of NASCAR racing coming your way from Talladega Superspeedway. We're working caution for the second time today. Coming out on lap 52. 18-year-old Adam Petty coming in turn 4. There's contact. His Spree Chevrolet nudges the outside wall as traffic splits to go around and he comes across, and the drivers try to avoid Adam Petty. His car is on its way back to the garage area with damage to the right front fender. Still working caution here today for only the second time in 55 laps. Back with more live action in just a moment. Back at Talladega, Alabama, still under caution for the second time today. Want to remind you, tomorrow at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific, ABC Sports goes off-road with Pace Supercross. Jeremy McGrath just clinched his 6th championship last weekend. This is the next to last race of the season. That is Supercross on ABC at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific tomorrow. Now we are told Matt Kenseth has a problem with the clutch. That's the car number 17 on the restart. We'll see if he can come up to speed. He's about the 5th car in line.
If he has a Jericho transmission in the car, Jerry, he really doesn't need the clutch to shift with. The only place he would need the clutch would be making a pit stop. But meanwhile, some bumping and shoving going on up front. As Kelly Denton did not pit in the 75 car, he now does have the lead.
Joy looking at the inside. No, I think I'll go back and high.
Well, that's because Kelly didn't block that move, but he's not going to block this move high. Look at LaJoy right up against the outside retaining wall. And here's Kenny Schrader, pole sitter, back in contention.
Nemechek on the bottom of the racetrack, the 87 car. It's the Bell South machine. Whoa, they come back and they do touch. Entering the trial of the 75 and 87, there was contact. And here's Purvis. You heard the spotter tell Nemechek he had the 4 on the inside. That was Jeff Purvis, who's made a move for position. Make it second spot.
Your position.
Kenny Schrader's trapped behind Kelly Denton right here. He didn't know which way to go. He knows he's got an inexperienced driver in front of him. And obviously...
Man, oh man.
4 lanes of racetrack and 4 lanes of race cars down 4,000 feet of back straightaway.
That was Dale Earnhardt Jr. went by this entire pack and looks like he moved into about 4th or 5th spot.
Now Ken Schrader able to make a move on the inside of Kelly Denton. They'll try to get by as they head into the turn, into the tri-oval. might think it's the last lap at Talladega, but not so. We still have 54 to go. That's typical NASCAR action, Superspeedway style, here at Talladega, Alabama. There comes Dave Blaney, the 93 car, on the inside. McLaughlin coming back with him. Down on the apron, wheels almost to the grass. Now they are 3 wide in turn 4.
You know, on that caution flag, while we're commercial break, 5 or 6 cars made a pit stop to top off for gasoline, hoping there would not be another caution flag, and they could make it the rest of the way. Those cars were the 66, the 10, the 63, the 83, 89, and 43. But if they keep racing like this, there will be another caution flag. Mark my word.
Well, Benny, here's the situation on the 66 car. They're getting 7.1 miles to the gallon, which is a good bit better than everyone else. Most of the cars down here between 6.7 and 6.9. So with that good fuel mileage, Todd Bodine believes after topping off, if this thing goes green, they're going to try to stay out. They believe they can go the distance. Schrader cannot do it. McLaughlin cannot do it. They're all going to be about a lap and a half or at least 2 laps short.
Well, maybe a strategy move by those 6 drivers who came in on lap 56 to top it off. We'll have to wait and see. Our AutoZone race recap shows you that Randy LaJoie is our leader. He's led 21 of 60 laps. There have been 10 lead changes, 2 caution flags for a total of 7 laps. That's why the average speed is down to 157.683 miles per hour. Our lap leaders, LaJoie, McLaughlin, Matt Kenseth, Kelly Denton, and our pole sitter, Ken Schrader, as well as Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Joe Nemechek. Now off the racetrack, meaning they're still being worked on and trying to be repaired, Adam Petty and Jason Keller. Those that are out of the race and have parked it for the day, our points leader Elton Sawyer, Jimmy Kitchens, and the youngster Jason Jarrett.
Meanwhile, there we see we've got about 6 cars that have broken away from the huge pack. As a matter of fact, we've got 6 cars and 5 cars and then the huge pack.
Yeah, this first pack of 5 or 6 cars that have broken away have got the really fast cars, the cars that have led, the 41, the 1, the 4, those guys, Dale Jr., those guys have been the guys that have run up front, Nemechek here, who have run up front and led the race. The next pack has only got a couple of cars in it that have led a race, like Mike McLaughlin and stuff. So you don't know whether the second pack is going to be able to run the first pack down or not. We'll just have to see how they are able to use the draft, and if only 2 or 3 of them can run them back down.
So all moment ago on the Circuit City telemetry, Joe Nemechek showing a speed of 196 miles per hour in the draft on the backstretch. These 6 cars are together, 1 through 6. Now, as you heard Benny say, there's the next pack. 5 cars. They're trying to get organized, single file. Jeff Green leading that battle. And behind that, a whole gaggle of cars, some 25 strong, trying to catch that pack. As we watch this action, let's check in with Bill Weber, who is called up with Adam Petty.
And a disappointing end to this race. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I don't know how bad the car hurt. It hurt my feelings more than anything. But, you know, we're just riding along there, and it will be nice. There's some outlaw driver out there that just came from sprint cars that tried to put the little slide job on you. But other than that, yeah, it was a safe race. You know, thank the good Lord more than anything that, you know, that I'm all right, but that the car stayed straight going down the straightaway. It could have caused a huge wreck there. We were running real tight, and, you know, fun restrictor plate racing. Just riding along there with Casey, going to the front, and running really good. Just have to wait till next year at Daytona to come back again.
Okay, we're glad you're okay.
Thank you.
So that's exactly what we talked about, Benny. He said fun restrictor plate racing. I didn't see nothing fun about that ride he took.
Plus, you're paying the bills to fix that car, so you're not enjoying that at all. Here's LaJoie and Purvis. Terry Labonte, the 2-time Winston Cup champion. Earnhardt Jr. is in that battle. 41 car, former Busch champion David Green having a great run. That's a Larry Hedrick on car number 41. These 6 cars, nose to tail, last time by at 194.5 miles per hour. We are under 50 laps to go at Talladega.
Looks like Schrader, back in the 15 car, is pulling his group of cars closer and closer to the top 6.
Yeah, a minute ago when when the 37 car was leading, when Jeff Green was leading that pack, I didn't think they were gaining on him that much. With Schrader, who sat on the pole for this race, obviously, and was pretty quick, he's beginning to pull this pack back a little bit.
A lot of muscle beneath the hood of Schrader's car, the Oakwood Home Chevy. Robert Reeves, the engine builder there for Andy Petrie, and he's bringing a whole host of race cars with him. That gap now visibly closing between 6th and 7th position.
So the last time by Schrader was 1.37 seconds behind the leader LaJoie. We'll check this time and see that he's 0.98, 1 second. So he closed 0.4 of a second that last lap. So he is there.
Now, Kyle, you can catch him, but what do you do when you catch him? How do you maintain the momentum? Oh, left front tire and wheel coming off. Looked like part of the tread coming off the tire on the car number 53. That is Hank Parker Jr. He is on the inner liner, the tire inside a tire, and he is still rolling, and as yet there is no caution. Apparently the debris that has rolled off the racetrack, and there is a tough break for the 53 car, Hank Parker Jr., the rookie driver who ran awfully well in final practice yesterday.
He's still moving along at a pretty good clip, if you ask me.
Yes, he is.
See if we can show you what happened a moment ago. The 53 car. Take a look at the left side of the car.
And we see the cap the outside tread, the tread of the tire actually going back and forth, back and forth. And luckily it stays on the car so we don't have that big chunk of debris. Oh, I thought we didn't have a big chunk of debris out there, but I guess hopefully it rolled down to the inside wall.
He's on pit road. He'll get those left side tires changed. Meanwhile, that second pack has caught him. Now we're talking 11 cars together. Here is Nemechek up high for position.
Nemechek saw,
Good job.
Nemechek saw Schrader coming, and he said, I'm going to move up and catch that freight train and see if it will take me to the front. And they're going by David Green. Now they're going to try Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the outside. Oh! Schrader hard on the outside.
Schrader up high on the outside. Cars sliding on the inside. 2, 3, 4, 5 cars now sliding, careening together in turn 1. One car erupts in flames down in turn 1 as they continue to have impact. As now there is flame burning all the way across the racetrack. The rear end impact apparently rupturing the fuel cell on the back of one of these Busch cars. And what we dread at Talladega has just taken place here on lap 68. That is the camera looking at the back of Kenny Schrader's car. And he is out of the car, but apparently the hard impact, he is away from the race car. That hard impact now has ripped open that 22-gallon fuel cell, and he just pitted not long ago, so probably had about 18 gallons in there. And now you see the heat beginning to burn and melt away the camera inside.
That's Chuck Bound's car. And let me see the back of Schrader's car where the fire was up on the racetrack, and it just followed Schrader's car. It was weird how the fire went right down to the car. Is that Barry Bodine on the bottom down there?
66 cars. This
That's Todd Bodine,
Todd Bodine's car.
All right, we're going to show you the replay of what happened here a moment ago. 11 cars in a draft in the Tri-Oval.
There we see Kelly Denton. Kelly Denton runs up into the back of Kenny Schrader, and that's what we're talking. The bump drafting, when they pick those rear tires off the ground, that is a problem. Turned him in the outside wall. There goes Jeff Green, and meanwhile, here comes this huge pack of cars with nowhere to go except into a smoke where they can see nothing, Kyle.
Yeah, and it's exactly like we always talk about. Then Schrader gets hit again over here, and that's where the fire starts. You saw somebody come down off the bank and hit him again. But we talk about Talladega. There's always multiple wrecks. Schrader was one wreck. When Kelly Denton runs in the back of Kenny Schrader right here and turns him, there's your wreck right there. Then all of a sudden somebody runs in the back of the 32 car and spins him down. Here he comes down across the thing here. He spins. There's your wreck right there. There's plenty of room to get through. The guys behind him, they can't see it. Somebody checks up. The next pack starts running into each other, and you'll see them start running into each other right here. They kick the 59 out of position here. All of a sudden, the racetrack is blocked. You can't see anything. You're driving in there blind, and everybody runs over everybody, and there's no place for anybody to go.
Now the Briggs & Stratton roof camera from Kenny Schrader. Buckle up and ride along as you watch this accident at 195 miles an hour. There's the impact. Continuing to spin around 360 down in turn 1. Now here's traffic coming right at him. He almost comes to a stall and gets hits again in the backside. The Jeff Krogh car erupting in flames. When Schrader got hit the second time, there was fire on the racetrack, and the fire ran all the way back down to his race car along that trail of gasoline and reignited.
There was Shane Hall driving in to see Phil Parsons, Brad Loney. I mean, they must have half the field down in turn 1. Once again, we see Schrader hard in the outside retaining wall. Debris flying every place. Now watch this. Here comes a big wreck. Our camera moves, but watch the big wreck. Oh, that sounds so ugly.
And you see the fire running over to the back of Schrader's car. It actually started on the racetrack. That second impact, there was gasoline dumped on the track. That ignited and ran down a trail all the way over to where Schrader was climbing out of his car.
You see Randall LaJoy have some damage. Ray Dunlap.
Well, Benny, he got the damage as he was coming in, just getting ready for their pit stop here, and the number 77 car of Ed Barrier was coming down pit road and decided to take a quick turn left to go into the garage, and LaJoy was coming in for his pit stop. That's where they made the contact. It doesn't look like a lot of damage, but LaJoy was the leader, and this could change his aerodynamics, no doubt about it. Right side tires are on, and he's going to lose a lot of positions while they sit here on pit road and work on it.
Man, oh man. Aerodynamics so critical here. Is Johnny Allen, the crew chief there, on his knees trying to get that front end taped up. Now, here again is the incident, and there's the 77 of Ed Barrier, and there's the right front damage that Ray was talking about. And the crew very frustrated as the hard left-hand turn of the garage area, and they are trying to repair that car. Well, we are showing 70 laps complete here at Talladega. What a mess down in turn 1. We'll try to unravel it after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Stay with us. Thank you very much, Robin. We welcome you back to Talladega Superspeedway. I'm Jerry Punch along with Kyle Petty, Benny Parsons, Ray Dunlap, and Bill Weber. And there is the car number 75 that NASCAR is holding on pit road. He was the car right behind Ken Schrader when this massive melee began on lap number 68. Third caution flag today coming out on lap 68. Here's the action. Here's where it all began. The 75 and 15 come together.
Kenny Schrader in the 15 car turns right hard in the outside retaining wall. Jeff Green spins down to the inside. You think the wreck is over, folks? The wreck is just starting, because here comes a huge pack of cars, about 20 cars, and at least 10 of those cars spun, crashed before they could get stopped.
All right, now from the Superflow roof cam of Chuck Bound, right behind Ed Barrier. And Kyle, he can't see a thing.
He can't see anything. He's getting pushed from behind the same time all this wreck's going on. Somebody's pushing him into it. He's getting pushed from behind. And these other cars, he spins all the way around and is headed back in the right direction, and they're still wrecking in front of him. From Kenny Schrader's car, listen to the in-car camera. You can't hear it, but from the in-car, it happened so quick that he never had a chance to check up out of the gas or do anything. He drove right into the outside wall, running wide open. So it's just, that's how quick things, we talk about how quick things happen here. This is still going on. This is one of those wrecks that just won't quit, but we talk about how quick things happen here at Talladega. That's a great example of it.
Boy, one of the drivers able to walk away. Tim Fita was standing by with Bill Weber.
Well, it happens in a hurry here. You're able to smile. You're okay.
Yeah, we're fine. It's just unfortunate for us and this whole Stanley team. We, had a good, not a real good qualifying effort, and we knew we had to come from the back and try to avoid stuff like that. But it was a wreck that happened just after restart, and when you're all bunched up like that, there isn't no room for anyone to go. So, I think everybody's okay. That's the good news in the infield care center. No one got seriously hurt, so that's the good news. Schrader's helmet's a little charcoal, but so he thinks that's cool though. That's Kenny.
Okay, thanks, Timmy.
Boy, Tim the Toolman Fedewa, Stanley Pontiac, able to walk away from what was a very frightening accident at over 193 miles an hour. And there's Kelly Denton, the car number 75, the Lumar Chevrolet. Charlie Henderson-owned car being held on pit road. Now, Phil Parsons took a couple of very, very hard licks, and now he's standing with Bill.
And you did take a few hard hits, but you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. I think I got hit 6 or 7 times, it seemed like. I mean, my spotter was right on top of it, said, hey, wreck up in front of you. And I was getting slowed down. Todd was behind me. We were working our way back to the front. And he was getting slowed down. He said someone ran in the back of him. That knocked him into me, turned me around, and I hit 4, 5, 6 times. I couldn't believe it. The All-Tel Chevy was really awesome. We topped off, took 4 tires and topped off on the last caution because we could go all the way. I don't know if any of the rest of them could or not. Several of us topped off, and Todd and I worked together real well, and we were headed back towards the front, and we probably got from the very back up towards the top 15, and this happened. I really hate it for the All-Tel team and Honeywell, Goodyear, Chevrolet. I guess Kenny was involved in the start of it. He said the 75 car ran in the back of him, and that doesn't surprise me because I thought in practice yesterday that he was going to crash, so it doesn't surprise me that it caused a wreck like this.
Glad you're okay. See you next week.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, Phil Parsons, now by our count, there were 18 cars and drivers involved in that incident. And we told you at the very first Superspeedway race this year at Daytona, they told the drivers it's got to be a give and take race. Instead, it was a push and shove day, as we had caution flags and multi-car crashes, and now we have the same at Talladega. We'll list those drivers involved when we come back to Talladega Superspeedway after this. Stay with us. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway here in Talladega, Alabama. The Touchstone Energy 300 under caution for the 3rd time today, and a multi-car accident on lap 68 involving Kenny Schrader with a tap from behind by the car number 75, Kelly Denton.
There's Schrader in the 15 car. See Jeff Green spin down to the inside, but here comes the wreck right behind them.
Fire erupts, comes all the way back into Schrader's car, and there's the charred helmet being held by the driver, and Bill Weber, he looks to be okay, huh?
Yeah, very disappointed, but physically fine, and obviously you are disappointed.
Yeah, we had a good car. Bad at start of the race, went back to last. Run back up there and just ride along, and we got drop kicked, coming out of the trial a ton, and there was no getting it gathered up.
You won't believe it when you see it.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. I didn't believe it when I saw it coming. I said, he's not going to. This isn't the part of the track where you bump draft. You don't bump draft 10 mile an hour faster, but.
Show us your helmet, Kenny.
It just got a little hot. Hit something a little hard, but it's a bell. Held up good.
Okay, on the pole tomorrow. Better luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
To Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bill, Bobby Hillen's back here in the garage. They just brought his race car back here. A big wall of smoke. Were you able to even see anything?
Well, it happened way up in front of us, and I thought for sure our group was going to get woed down. And, I personally tried to slow down as much as I could and still keep my car straight. And when we got to it, boy, it just all closed up on me. And, I felt like a ball in a fuse machine. I got hit every way I could, about 10 different times. Not really hard any. I think we can get back out and get some points, but I hate it for Sparkles Towels. They were with us for a one-race deal. And we want to do a good job, but there's a lot. I tell you, it's great to see all the fans here in the stands for a Busch race. And the race was going good up until then, and you just hope all day long, stay cool, everybody stay cool. And it doesn't take but one little bump, and man, it'll tear up about $1 million equipment real quick.
Absolutely. But guys, I've looked around at some of the cars that are back here in the garage. There are crews working on them, but of the 15 or 16 that are in the garage now, looks to me like maybe 3, maybe 4 of them might be able to get back out of there.
All right, let's set the cars that were involved in this crash, this wild scramble here on lap 68. There were 21 cars that we have currently involved. McLaughlin, Todd Bodine, Ken Schrader, Kelly Denton, and Jeff Green. Brad Loney, the short track ace from Iowa. Jeff Krogh, heavily damaged in front of his car. Shane Hall, Phil Parsons, front and rear damage. Mark Green's Dr. Pepper car also involved. Chuck Bound, Mike Dillon, Ed Barrier, Kevin Grubb, and Bobby Hamilton Jr., as well as Tim Feedwell, who you heard from a moment ago, Jeff Fuller, Wayne Grubb, Bobby Hillen, Tony Raines, and Matt Hutter in the car number 99. Now, one driver a little bit ago that came through this incident must have had hit both sets of fingers crossed and toes crossed. He could not see a thing. We're talking about Stanton Barrett in the Channel Lock Chevrolet. Watch his route through the accident.
He drives into the smoke, and we see Larry Pearson go by in the 00, and Stanton must not be doing 20 miles per hour, and that's about the right speed to drive through there.
That's exactly the right speed. You see Larry Pearson right to the right. By the time they get there, it's like nothing ever happened. It's just like you came through a fog bank. Everybody's already spun down off the thing. But those two guys did a great job because they could have just as easily been added to that list of 20.
And by getting through that accident, Stanton Barrett now being shown in 11th position. Former stuntman on a number of Hollywood shows and movies. Now getting back to NASCAR racing, just 26 years of age, the son of Stan Barrett. Set that land speed record years ago in that rocket car out in Bonneville. Second generation driver showing his mettle here in Busch competition.
With just, what, 36 laps to go, something like that?
Matt Kenseth in the DeWalt Chevrolet, weaving back and forth, trying to get a little heat in those tires. We were told the temperatures have dropped about 7 or 8 degrees in the last 20 minutes or so. It has certainly gotten cool in the garage area, as we have some 21 race cars down there trying to be repaired to get back on the racetrack.
One other thing they're doing, Jerry, is weaving the car back and forth to make sure, trying to find out if they have a flat tire, because there's a tremendous amount of debris there. If they puncture a tire, by weaving the car back and forth, sometimes you can tell and dive in the pits and get a fresh tire.
All right, talking about more Busch action. Well, next Saturday we'll be at California Speedway. A special presentation of the NASCAR Busch Series Auto Club 300 at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. That's live from California Speedway in Fontana. And that's followed by the Classic Kentucky Derby, 4:30 Eastern Time. The Run for the Roses. That's on ABC Sports next Saturday, coming your way. Well, the fans in the stands here have certainly got their money's worth today with all the action they saw earlier today at NASCAR Happy Hour, International Race of Champions, and now our live coverage of the Busch Series Touchstone Energy 300. Matt Kenseth will lead them down as they complete lap 78.
Jeff Purvis, that 4-car, Lance Knox car on the inside of Lyndon Amick. He has some help. Casey Atwood, the 27 car, right on his back bumper. And they'll take over that 3rd spot with the 4-car. Now Atwood takes over the 4th spot. And here comes Nemechek alongside.
I wouldn't be surprised now at this point in time in the race if we don't see a lot more staying in this crowd. Half the cars have been taken out. There's only half the amount of cars on the racetrack, 18, 19, 20 some cars on the racetrack that are running. So you don't have that opportunity for the leaders to get bunched up 2 and 3 wide and catch back up. You need to keep touch with the leaders. So I'm thinking these guys may want to stay in line a little bit better.
As you watch this side-by-side action for 4th place between Atwood and Nemechek, as David Green makes a move down the backstretch. Ray Dunlap is caught up with another driver who was involved in that incident, Jeff Crow.
Well, they're surveying the damage down here, but Jeff, I know you've been on fire before, but have you ever hit that hard?
No, that was probably one of the harder hits I've ever had. Yeah, just unfortunate. You know, we had a good car today, and it just, we've seen the wreck up ahead of us, but when you're going 180 miles an hour, nothing you really can do. You know, we were up on it so quick. It's just unfortunate for all these guys. I think there's 14 of us involved, but those things will happen, I guess.
Going that fast, it's inevitable to happen here at Talladega, and this race car, guys, is really a mess.
But you can build race cars. Unfortunately, NASCAR's #1 priority is safety, and those drivers have been able to walk away and come back and talk to us. How about the car number 5, guys? The Snyder trucking car. It's the orange and white Chevrolet in the middle of that pack. Dick Trickle, and he started way back in 43rd position, shotgun on the field.
Yep. I'm sorry, Kyle, go ahead.
No, and I was just going to say he's had a terrible year this year. They've missed races, they've struggled, and that's Jimmy Spencer's, one of Jimmy Spencer's teams. And, you know, it's important for those guys to be able to come out, and I think it's important for Dick to come and show everybody that he can still run up front.
Purvis going for the lead. That's the 4 car. And right behind him, he does have David Green.
2 different lines. On the bottom of the racetrack, 1 on top. And remember, the very first lap of the race, that car number 4 was black flagged by NASCAR for jumping the start. He had a stop-and-go penalty. Came back on the racetrack, lost a lap, got his lap back on the caution flag, and now is battling his life away, running those tires as hard as he can for the lead here at Talladega.
When the 93 gets there, Joe, let's pull out.
That's a spotter telling Joe Nemechek when Blaney, the 93 car, gets to him, pull out in front of him, and you guys go together.
Five cars on the bottom of the racetrack. The 4 is Purvis. The 41 is David Green. Then Nemechek, Blaney, and Stanton Barrett. Let's go back down to the pits.
Well, Jerry, it could have been real interesting as far as fuel mileage goes. You guys have kind of had a strategy, but that was going to be if there was no caution, and let's say it's an understatement to say there was a caution.
Yeah, that's a big understatement. Donnie made a call. We were going to go all the way on fuel. We came in, topped it off. The Phillips 66 Chevy was getting great fuel mileage. We didn't have the fastest car. It was okay. Could do some drafting, but I needed help, and we decided to go on a fuel mileage deal and try to beat them. And you're right, we didn't need that caution, and it's a shame. You know, one guy makes a mistake and it collects a lot of people, but you know, it really hurt us in points. That's the disappointing part. We just needed to finish this race. The Phillips 66 crew done a great job all year.
Don't be afraid.
It's a shame to have to sit in the garage with a wrecked one.
Did you try to drive through it?
Well, I saw the smoke. I was right behind Phil, and we had both slowed down, and I don't know who was behind me, but they run right into me and pushed me into Phil, and then we started crashing from there. So there was nothing we could do about it. You know, we were going to miss it, though.
Both the 66 car and the 36 are working awfully hard to try to get out and make just a couple more laps to get them a few more points.
Well, you take 16 cars involved in the crash or whatever. If a couple of cars can go out and run one more lap, will they gain 14 positions or 42 points? And we see Purvis has taken that lead, and David Green is now in second spot.
All right, laps are winding down at Talladega. Still overcast skies, but Jeff Purvis, the sun is shining on his afternoon. Back with more in just a moment. Stay with us. Back at Talladega, Alabama, I'm Jerry Punch along with Kyle Petty, Benny Parsons, Ray Dunlap, and Bill Weber. And the car you're riding with, the Channel Lock Chevrolet of Stanton Barrett, had come all the way to 4th spot, and 1 lap ago got tagged from behind, and that got him a little bit out of shape, and he has now dropped back a few spots.
We're right along with Stanton Barrett as he tries to pull up on the outside of Dick Trickle.
Only his 3rd start in this car. He got the ride full time after running a great race at Nashville, Tennessee. He had a good run at Bristol on the short track 2 weeks ago.
And what's up with Earnhardt Jr.? He and Matt Kendall both have now moved down to the bottom of the racetrack. I guess maybe they're trying that different line down there, but it looks like they're losing spot after spot.
Yeah, he pulled in right behind Kenseth, and they run on the outside there, and the inside line kind of broke away a little bit. Kenseth came to the bottom. He jumped on with Kenseth there, and all of a sudden the outside line took off again. So they're just choosing the wrong lanes right now. With Joy, we saw him with that front end damage. He's pulled in behind Lyndon Amick in the Scana car there. And as long as he's got somebody in front of him to break and make a hole in the wind for him, he can run pretty good. But once they get away from him a little bit, you see him getting away right there a little bit. It's just a lot wider, and that aero damage is really hurting him a lot.
There's LaJoy, the winner in Daytona. Up front, they start to shuffle again. Pair of Chevrolets and a Pontiac. Purvis a Chevrolet, Nemechek a Chevrolet. The Amico car. Dave Blaney, the car number 93, back in 3rd spot. The 00 car was there. That was Larry Pearson. He's now been shuffled back in the Cheez-It car. That's former 2-time Busch Series champion, son of David Pearson.
There's somebody's spotter, I don't know whose spotter that is, saying if you get a chance, let's go. These guys are driving the wheels off of them right now. They're going, believe me.
There's the car number 3 you were talking about a moment ago, Benny, back there on the high side. Now that's Earnhardt Jr. See if he can get a run up high as the 17 car Matt Kenseth down on the inside.
Make the move, man, make the move.
Yeah, I don't think that spotter realizes just how fast Jeff Purvis is. We've seen all day how well that number 4 car runs, and I think Nemechek would be making that move if he could. I think all he can do right now is hang on.
Probably the only way you could push that pedal any further down is to cut a hole in the floorboard. There is Joe Nemechek's bow south roof cam looking ahead at the leader. The back part of a Chevy Monte Carlo driven by Jeff Purvis.
Just watch your mirror, Joe. The 41 tries past the 93. You got to stay in the bottom 2. Stay in front of the 93.
And there's the view from Dave Blaney, being very patient. Still looking for his first Busch Series victory. The 1995 World of Outlaws champion, a 4-time runner-up in that World of Outlaws series. Now in his second year in Busch competition.
Terry Labonte, the 44 car, trying to get that line on the outside going again, trying to take over the 4th spot. He's got some help. Lyndon Amick, Randall LaJoy, and Matt Kenseth.
Well, points change. As of right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. would be in the points lead. Take a look. LaJoy would gain 3 spots. Blaney would gain 4. And Casey Atwood would lose a spot to drop back to 10th spot if they were awarded points right now. But they will not. We still have 22 laps to go as we get set for a super speedway shootout at Talladega. There is Terry Labonte, the Slim Jim Chevrolet, the 2-time Winston Cup champion, now getting a little bit racy up high as he will challenge Jeff Purvis and go by, or at least temporarily go by Purvis down the backstretch.
And right now, Nemechek has cars inside, outside, cars every place. And look at Terry Labonte go to the front and take off.
That outside line within a period of about a lap and a half just picked up about 15 miles an hour.
All right, laps are winding down at Talladega, and Texas Terry Labonte is showing the way. Back with more after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back at Talladega, Alabama, I'm Jerry Punch along with Kyle Petty, Benny Parsons, Bill Weber, and Ray Dunlap. Beautiful look at this massive 2,000-acre super speedway, the world's fastest stock car facility. We are inside, 16 laps remaining in the 8th running of the Touchstone Energy 300. Jeff Purvis, our leader. We'll be right back. Well, we are being told they are feeling some raindrops in the backstretch.
And they're scrambling for the lead. Here's Terry Labonte trying to go by on the outside. And he gets by. Purvis pulls in between he and Lyndon Amick. And here comes Matt Kenseth.
We are 13 laps away from the checkered flag, but you heard the spotters a moment ago saying raindrops, raindrops. And Kyle Petty, that's a signal for a driver to put whatever he's got left in reserve on the floorboard.
Yeah, and it's a bad time because you know there's 10 or 12 laps to go. You've got to run as hard as you can run, and that windshield every now and then just covers up and you can't hardly see anything out of it when it starts sprinkling. Believe me, a little bit of sprinkle looks like a major downpour whenever you're running 180 miles an hour.
Purvis once again diving to the inside. Here comes Kenseth. He's with him. He's helping.
And Terry Labonte will not have any drafting help. He is hung up high on the racetrack. The line is down low. Purvis, Kenseth, Nemechek, the 3 of Earnhardt Jr. There's Lyndon Amick in the 35.
Suck it up.
I think everybody all day long seen how strong that 4 car is, and they just go where he goes. There's Kenseth diving to the inside, making a move.
Did you see that move? Just dove to the inside. Matt Kenseth in the DeWalt car takes the lead.
Poor Purvis, he's been riding around trying to protect the outside from Terry Labonte and all that stuff, and all of a sudden they dive to the inside and go by.
Good job, good job.
That is Joe Nemechek spotter. With the 87 car. They will get the 10 to go. Let's turn by.
Let him push us.
Herb say, let's block. Oh, I hate that word, block. But it's a way of life with NASCAR restrictor plate racing. We see Nemechek's got to run, and we see, oh, here we go.
Good job. Good job.
And all the way to the bottom of the racetrack with Nemechek. Purvis came down. And that is Nemechek's spotter, congratulating him on being the leader as Purvis slides way up across the racetrack, right in front of Lyndon Amick's car number 35. Now,
All right, let's use the drive for these lap cars. Use it. This car sucks good. You remember that. Use all you can.
now Kyle Petty, as you heard Benny say,
Get that good in front of you. Go low.
blocking becomes a way of life in the final 10 laps.
Yeah, blocking's kind of like, four corners used to be for Carolina when they used to go in the four corners with that time to go. You hate to see it happen, but to win a race, you do everything you can do to block. You're going to see a lot of races.
Whatever car is the fastest.
With whatever car the fastest car is whoever you want to go with right now. These guys are so evenly matched. The 4 car has been the fastest car. You see, you got to drop back to 4th or 5th. He's already worked his way back to 2nd. It depends on who wants to go with Jeff Purvis at the end of the race on how the thing shuffles out.
Single file up high.
The cars in front of you. Use them.
That time by 193 miles per hour for that car number 4 as he was trying to reel in the leader. Now he is back within a half a car length. And Benny Parsons, some slower traffic dead ahead for the lead pack as they will come off of turn 2.
And we're talking about really slow cars. Cars running probably 15, 20 miles per hour slower than the leaders. And we heard the spotter say, Nemechek, use those slower cars. Trust me, he'll use them all he possibly can.
Those lap cars.
We also heard the spotter say that the car sucks up good. Remember, that's when there's cars in front of us. He really gets a good run.
Let him out the inside. You keep the mirror.
Eight laps to go. There are 16 cars still being shown in the lead lap.
Keep juking back and forth. You run your line.
Here goes Purvis, the car number 4, looking to the inside, and will Nemechek hit all the way almost to the grass. Purvis, as they conga line it down the backstretch, that big long snake from the outside to the inside and back to the outside.
This is a hard way to race. Purvis makes a move to the inside. Nemechek goes to the inside, but when Purvis wants to come back to the outside, how do you know the 17 and the 3 haven't gone to the outside and blocked your lane over there? You can get shuffled from 2nd or 3rd all the way back to 8th or 9th really quick.
Nerve rattling, nail biting. That's what the final laps are. Those 6 cars trying to settle it among themselves with 7 laps to go.
And Kenseth gets a run on Purvis. Here he comes to that 2nd spot. He's got help.
17.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is with him. Purvis just came off the bottom. It looked like a half a car width off turn 2 and gave Kenseth that run, and he moves into 2nd spot.
7 laps is a long time to go at Talladega, especially when you're in a position like this where there's so much jockeying for position. We see as this goes
Hey, just stall his air. You're doing good.
Casey
You're doing good. Just stall his air. Watch him in your mirror.
Casey Atwood and David Green have caught this pack back. So now we add 2 more cars to
Protect
this
the
mix,
bottom. Move. Good job.
which just makes it more complicated.
Gotta wonder who's working harder here, the driver or the spotter. He's probably prancing up on the roof talking.
Go with whoever's to the bottom and passing there, Joe. Just watch your mirror, Bubba.
I'm going to tell you something. If I was driving that car, I wish my spotter would lose his voice at about this time because I'm about tired of hearing him talk if you're driving because Joe is concentrating on everything that's going on. You hadn't heard Joe even key the mic and say anything back. He's just driving the wheels off of it.
And what a job Joe Nemechek is doing in the car number 87. Nemechek, there'll be 5 to go. And look at Terry Labonte, Texas Terry, now mounts the charge up high.
Terry's getting up there, Randy. You tell him we'll go to the top.
Labonte will be even with Kenseth for 2nd spot. This is where he took the lead about 7 laps ago. As the car number 44 in the middle groove, 2-time Winston Cup champion.
He can't block them both.
He can't stop the 17. How about the 44? A handful of laps to go. Joe Nemechek saying, when will this thing be over? +190 mile-per-hour NASCAR action at Talladega. It doesn't get any better than this.
Good job, blocking. Good job.
And once again, good.
Stay in whatever front of the line, the fastest. Stay in front of the line, that's the fastest.
Now, Terry Labonte needs a little bit of drafting help from Purvis. Now Purvis is pulled up on the back of the 44 car. They're in the outside line. But they are sliding back. They are now even with the car number 3 for third spot.
We're riding along with Joe Nemechek, the leaders. He looks back at second place. Matt Kenseth. There's a third place car, the 44. That's Terry Labonte.
There have been 7 Busch Series events at Talladega and 7 different winners. Nemechek won this race a year ago from the pole. It has gotten cooler. The wind has picked up.
You're doing what you're doing. You stay in front of the fastest thing. Keep your mirror.
Let's check in with Ray Dunlap.
Looking in your mirror, Bubba. You're doing good right there.
Well, Jerry, you're exactly right. Joe Nemechek would be the first repeat winner, but it's not the same car that they used here last year. I couldn't believe they wouldn't bring the same one back, but with different rules in Busch Racing this year, he said this car is a lot more stable than the one last year that they used, and he said it will definitely win today. We'll see.
This car they brought here, the 87 car, was the one that set and still holds the track record here in qualifying 2 years ago, back in 1997.
When these guys got too wide up there a minute ago with Terry Labonte on the outside, that's allowed that second pack to catch up. That second pack has dropped down to the bottom line, and the bottom line for the last couple of laps is.
All right, I'm going to say the same thing. You protect the bottom and watch the 17. Protect the bottom, watch the 17. 2 to go.
Over a dozen cars, inches apart, on 33-degree banks at Talladega. 2 laps to go. Just over 5 miles of racing. Can Joe Nemechek hold them off? Kenseth, the youngster, in the car number 17 in second.
You keep doing what you're doing.
Now, Kyle Petty, where do you make your move if you're Matt Kenseth?
You know, Matt's got to have help to make a move. Matt's car's been running right on the bottom of the racetrack. We saw him a couple of times turn left and come up under people.
Keep doing what you're doing there, pal. You protect the bottom and be in front of the 17. You do the same thing you've been doing. Watch your mirror, stay in front of the 17.
But Nemechek's spotter is exactly right. Protect the bottom and stay in front of the 17, and that's what Nemechek's doing, is protecting that bottom. It's going to take the 17 running up on Nemechek, making him a little loose, making him push up, and then trying to dive to the inside, and the 3 going with him, just like this.
Final lap.
Watch your mirror there, buddy. Watch your mirror.
15 cars, nose to tail, inches apart at almost 195 miles an hour. Nemechek with a challenge from Texas Terry. Labonte up high. Nemechek down low. It's Labonte by half a car length. They are half a mile from the checkered flag. Texas Terry Labonte trying to make it. The start-finish line, they come to the tri-oval 2 by 2.
I don't have a clue.
Well, NASCAR scoring is... We'll wait for the official word as they are celebrating down in the Bell South Mobility Pits. That's the Joe Nemechek. But NASCAR scoring is showing the 44 car. We'll try to decipher exactly what happened. That is a typical day at Talladega, and that's why they come here and stand in line for the finish. That's where they came across the stripe. We'll unravel the finish, take a look at the photographs, and visit someone in victory lane in just a moment.
Pretty damn close.
Thank you very much, Robin. What a finish at Talladega Superspeedway. Let me show you exactly how close it was. It was 2,000th of a second, at the start-finish line. Those two cars flashing across. Another angle shooting back toward the start-finish line. And NASCAR has deciphered that Texas Terry Labonte in the Slim Jim Chevrolet has won the 8th running of the Touchstone Energy 300. Let's go down to our McDonald's winner circle. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, there have been many amazing moments here at Talladega, but this will always be one of the most memorable. 2 1,000ths of a second. Did you think you won?
I didn't know. I told him on the radio, so I don't know if I won or not. It's close. I've been in some close finishes here, but not that close. I got to thank Slim Jim. Got to thank all these guys in this team. They did a great job. This was a backup engine. It wasn't as strong as the other one. Thanks Chevy, Goodyear. And I got to say hello to a crew member, Wayne Dalton. Wayne Dalton's got leukemia and is waiting for a marrow transplant. And he was a big part of this team, and we wish he was here today, and we're praying for him, and want to say hi to him, and just thanks to these guys. That was an exciting finish here. I mean, I've been in some close races here. Jeff Purvis, he helped me win the race there. He was pushing me there at the end, and was able to get ahead of him just enough. But it was close all day.
Congratulations. Thanks for the thrill.
Thanks.
Well, why do they stand in line to come to Talladega? After 300 miles, it all came down to 2 1,000th of a second. And Texas Terry, the 42-year-old two-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion, is in victory lane celebrating. We'll come back and wrap it up from Talladega Superspeedway. What a day. Stay with us, back in just a moment. Back at Talladega, Alabama, what a day for NASCAR. Taking a look at the unofficial results, 16 cars finished on the lead lap. Remember, our ABC coverage comes your way tomorrow, the 30th running of the Die Hard 500 at 1 o'clock Eastern Time on ABC Sports from Talladega. For Kyle Petty, Benny Parsons, Ray Dunlap, and Bill Weber, I'm Jerry Punch, congratulating Terry Labonte. Stay tuned. World News Saturday comes your way next. So long, everyone, from Talladega Superspeedway.